In the world of professional golf, there exists an elite club, a club filled with legends.
EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present opening round coverage of the Web.com Tour. EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present opening round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship. Frank, did you hear the sound of that coming off the club face?
It was like a cannon.
So, Frank, a perfect lie right here. And now this gives him a chance to take the next step, which is get after this hole location.
Yeah, so many more options now, and basically it's just going to come down to club selection now. This is absolutely perfect. This is one where he can get a reward from.
Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. You couldn't hit that much better.
Well, not in contention, but in for par. How about this second, a par 5?
Well, if you're brave, you try and flash it down that tree line down the left, but there's a couple of limbs that poke out. Every now and again, they catch an errant tee shot.
Nicely played onto the fairway here at the second hole. Playing his second shot here at the par 5. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. That will be a great look at birdie. This one just requires a little bit of focus.
That might go unnoticed, Rich, but that birdie just sneak inside the top 15.
Frank, a nice mix of holes to start. So here we go with a par 3 at the third.
Very narrow at the front of the screen, and that bunker too. You don't actually see it off the tee, the back left bunker, and it sneaks into that left side. So if that flag is on the left, just be careful.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Well, that's not the way you wanted to start out the backside here.
Yeah, you can't afford from inside 10 feet. It just, you feel like you have to make those, and I mean, they really sting when they miss.
-1 in the early going. For those of you just tuning in, we're checking in now on our featured golfer here at the fourth. Frank, when you get out of the gates, as our featured golfer has done, with a lot of pars, steady play, what's the mindset?
You've got to keep doing that, Rich. Just maybe get a little closer to the hole, drive a little bit better, work on the pace of the putting. Just little gains, and then all of a sudden you're going to notice a big difference in the scorecard.
That's well played. Now a good look at birdie.
It's that sneaky distance.
Well, you're not going to make that putt all the time, but you'd like to at least get it to the hole.
If he keeps putting like that, he's going to be an announcer in no time.
Solid par to remain 1 under.
Now to the 5th. This long par 4 thought to be one of the most difficult holes on the front side here at the TPC Sawgrass.
If you've got plenty of length in the bag, you can almost take it directly over the bunker on the right. But if you're not as long, you have to air down that left side. I'm loving that balance.
Good tee shot, good lie, and now a good chance to take advantage here on this hole. On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business.
In for par.
Frank, you don't want to get too cute with that second shot here at the 6th.
I remember many a time, Rich, when they put the flag right of center. You try and hit a little bit too close, those palm trees all of a sudden come into play. Hits one of those, that ball can go anywhere.
Frank, for our viewers just tuning in, remind them what is at stake here in this Web.com Tour Championship final.
50 players will actually go forward in 2015 and have their PGA Tour card. And the way it's divvied up is you take the top 25 on the money list from the regular Web.com season. And then added to that, the remaining 25 cards will come from this Web.com Finals series. That's the 50 guys, and they'll all be ranked in position of where they finish.
Frank, now the second shot here at hole number 6.
Yeah, not overly long, but be very aware of these palm trees that are short. Many a shot's caught those trees coming into this green.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, right? It's going to hurt the cause.
Frank, 7th hole here at TPC Sawgrass. How do you break this one down?
Not overly long, 440 yards, but once again, it's a tee shot. If you're driving the ball well, that's fine. You just sort of blister it down there, but you're starting to lose one a little bit to the right. There's 3 pot bunkers there, and of course, if you're fearful of it going left, there's a canal all the way down the left side that'll get your attention.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Wow, what a day. Every green hit in regulation. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. I tell you, he's setting himself up for a good weekend. A former college #1 makes another birdie. Here we are at the 8th at Pete Dye's famed stadium course at the TPC Sawgrass. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Frank, this is a hole that I really like.
And players do too, Rich, especially off that back tee where it must be about 80 yards of shoot that you go through before the hole actually starts to open up. And this green, 11 bunkers in total around the whole putting surface.
Now on the green has about 10 feet left there to save par. 10-foot putt left. Well, that was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
No, sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Not going so well for him. He has this for bogey. Whew, this is tough to watch.
I've already got my eyes covered.
Frank, now at the 9th, this really is one of my favorite par 5s in the entire sport.
And I certainly enjoy watching people play it today, Rich. It used to be unreachable, but the longer hitters now, we're starting to see them go for this par 5 regularly in 2. And the reason why they start to hit the drive more down the right now than what they used to. People used to try and go down the left side. The right side, it hugs the water, but you get a better view of the second shot.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Frank, he took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. Rich, there's nothing worse than this. This might look all right, but in the mulch, this is a disastrous situation.
So this is not mulch or do about nothing?
Ah, I get it.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
Did the smart thing there, Frank. Took his medicine, back out onto the fairway.
It's a big green. Just managed to get it smack bang in the middle of it.
So with that, the score is now at even par. Now to the 11th, par 5.
Good tee shot, and then you certainly think about hitting a hybrid or a lofted fairway wood into this green that's really narrow, one of the narrowest on the golf course. There's a little pot bunker left of this green when you go for 2 that often swallows up that second shot if it's a little bit too conservative. But there's a lake there. Seen more than one ball splash in the pond over the years.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Frank, from this point, it is all about precision.
Yeah, that right side, you're looking at that big gaping bunker. That green's not very deep from that angle.
Pure strike, good result.
And that is close.
Not a gimme, but well within his range.
You'd like that one again?
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Still even par for the day. Frank, what's so much fun about TPC Sawgrass is the excitement that it generates for a fan and how many different holes there are. 12 is a good example.
Yeah, 12 looks like it's fresh from Scotland. You can see why Pete Dye spent a lot of time over there. Tee shot looks straight away, but the second shot is blind. The shot you'd get in Scotland with a wedge where you just see the top of the flagstick and you've got to really guesstimate on the yardage that you have. But a good wedge shot and someone that can judge their distance, this is certainly a birdie hole.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. He'll take par and move on. Frank, 17 gets so much attention here at the TPC Sawgrass, but 13, par 3, is exciting in its own right.
It is, and it's actually more difficult than 17. One of the reasons it's longer, and also the green here. 17 obviously has two sections in it, front and top. This has, I don't think there's a flat piece on it. And every now and again we watch a ball roll all over this green and actually find the cup for the odd ace.
And this will be a 5-foot putt here. Drops it, and he's at even par. Now one of the most demanding holes on this golf course, the 14th, 481-yard par 4.
If you ever want a litmus test at TPC Sawgrass on who's playing well, check the tee shots on 14. If you stripe it down here, you know you're driving the ball well. Too often we see people messing with the mounds on the right. This is definitely not going down the fairway.
It doesn't look good. I think it's going to be in the deep rough. You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish. But, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
That's a good shot right there, about 10 feet away. He'll have a good chance.
Even par currently.
Can't make it, Frank, if you don't hit it.
Hubert Green once said, 99% of putts left short don't go in. What happened to the other one?
And with that par, moving into the top 25 on the leaderboard. Now to the 15th, and Frank, I know this is a hole that you really like.
Yeah, it gets no respect in my book, which I think is a shame. Just a nice dogleg to the right. And really two good shots and a 3 here, which is actually a rarity. It sets you up for those closing 3 holes. Too often people just take 15 lightly. And 15 has just a gentle nibble that turns into a bite.
This is a good-looking shot. Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
This is an awkward length.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Frank, I think one of the things that fans love about this gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18, each hole has that sort of hold-your-breath moment. Certainly 17, we know when that ball's in the air, you're holding your breath. Is it wet or dry? 16, same on that second shot. You're holding your breath wondering, where is it? Right in the water or left with a chance for 3?
That's why you don't want to get too sloppy on that tee shot. A lot of people look at 16 because there's a wide fairway and they think just get it down there. But the extra 10 or 15 yards, there's a little ridge down that left side. If you catch that, the ball will kick good 20 yards further forward. 20 yards is too close. I'd much rather go into 17 with a 4-iron than a 2-iron.
Frank, how good was that just to get it on the green?
Well, from that shot there, you would have thought for sure that there was no chance he had of finding the green. That was some shot.
Still playing even for the day after the par. Frank, if the winds kick up, you could see carnage here at 17.
Well, just to give you an example, Rich, back in 2007, 93 balls. That's the best players in the world found the lake. 2005, 65. So, what would the mere mortal do?
On the green and looking at a birdie opportunity.
EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present opening round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship.
Frank, what's the best way to get at this first hole?
Ideally, you want to go with a short iron. Makes it easier to keep the ball on the right level. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Very well done, almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
And he's putting for par now. And so just getting started, even par so far. Now to the second. Frank, what do you make of this hole?
Well, over the years, we've seen more and more people hitting 3-wood off this tee. 3-wood's normally easier to draw, and it doesn't run out down that right side.
And that's going to stay on the fairway here at the second hole.
Second shot.
Crucial eagle attempt on the way. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Well, that's all you want right there. Just lag it down, don't get too crazy, and now just to tap in left. Starting to move now, Frank, on this leaderboard.
Certainly going all in the positive direction. He's in the middle of the pack, now top 15.
So we started with a par 4, then a par 5, and now the 177-yard par 3 third hole. Plenty of hazards here, Frank.
You really break this green up into 3 portions. Front left, front right, and that back, just on top of the ridge.
Good, clean contact, and a nice result, and a chance for birdie coming up. Moves into the top 10 with that birdie. Frank, how difficult is it to access the hole location if you miss the fairway here at 4?
Well, if you miss it left, I've got to say the lesser of two evils is to be in the bunker on the right.
Excellent drive, Frank, right where you want to be. Frank, the second here at the 4th is a dangerous shot.
Once again, this is another example of where you have to look at the green. Where exactly is the flag? If it's on that high portion, you've got to fly it all the way back.
These putts keep the round together. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
Good par right there, Frank, and pretty good position on this leaderboard.
In that sort of top echelon of the game right now. It'll be interesting too. A birdie or two coming in. Pad the position.
Now to the 5th. This long par 4 thought to be one of the most difficult holes on the front side here at the TPC Sawgrass.
If you've got plenty of length in the bag, you can almost take it directly over the bunker on the right. But if you're not as long, you have to air down that left side.
They'll need to get all of this one. 200 yards, the second shot. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Not quite where he was aiming, but still enough room to get it up and down. Just a little too much juice on that birdie putt, Frank.
It was bold, very bold.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Nice par to remain at 2 under. Frank, this isn't a hole that sort of jumps out at you the way, say, 17 does.
Yeah, a lot of times people will just sort of gloss over it, but anytime you get a par 4 under 400 yards, it's a great opportunity. But once again, a positional hole. Take advantage of it. Rich, now's the time to knuckle down. I know things haven't gone right up to this point, but really, this is where you can still get something out of it. Just give yourself that opportunity. You're good enough.
Beauty of golf, Frank. One good strike comes off the center of the bat, one good result, and you begin to feel differently about things. Continuing his fine play, another beautiful approach shot. He has this putt for birdie. Once considered the best player at the college level, our featured golfer makes birdie, sitting comfortably inside the cut line. 7th hole here at TPC Sawgrass generally plays into the wind, one of the stadium course's most difficult greens to hit, Frank.
It's a really weird tee shot here. You have those 3 little pop bunkers down the right, and then that bunker that meanders once again all the way down the left side. The bunker that's just slightly right of the canal. Very awkward angle off the tee.
And from that position, a good chance to get at this hole location at number 7. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
And to generate some momentum here at the 7th hole. This for birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Starting to make a nice move. Birdie and 4 under par for the tournament. TPC Sawgrass, the fabled stadium course designed by the legendary Pete Dye. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novello. Here at the 8th, Frank, most players are happy walking out of here with a par 3.
And the reason why, it's a very narrow entry to this green. It's just littered with bunkers around, left, behind, to the side, and even short. Once you get further up the green, though, even though this is sort of an undulating green, it starts to widen up. So don't get trapped into just looking at the front of this hole. Well, it was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Second shot coming out of the rough here. In the cup. What a shot. Can't get much better than that. Frank, I think this is one of the most fascinating holes on the golf course. The 583-yard par 5 ninth hole.
With technology now, a lot more players can reach this par 5 and 2. Gone are the days where it was a true three-shotter, but I remember when Sergio Garcia hit that 3-wood from, what was it, 270, 280 yards? Still one of the best shots I've ever seen.
That's in the fairway. Second shot coming up here at the par 5. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Safely aboard. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Good chance here. Currently at 5 under par.
That's a good par given the situation.
Still tight, still close. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Second shot now at the 10th, and again, Frank, accuracy is at a premium.
Yeah, gone are the days to sort of thrash it out of the trees like Phil Mickelson. Ideally coming out of that fairway, you're hitting to a green that moves to the right. So that makes it a little bit more difficult than what the mind's eye first sees.
Frank, he took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
Hole number 11, 558-yard, par 5. Frank, players in attack mode here?
Yeah, just try and blitz it down there. There are other bunkers on the left to consider, but really with that much fairway, this is a green light opportunity.
Good lie in the fairway. A good chance to make something happen here.
Rich, this is the player that I'm really curious to see how they do long term. Tons of power. There's talent. You can see that. Anybody can pick that up. In the touch, too, and the skill required. It's not just about long hitting. This player seems to have all the goods. And I know we talk about it on a regular basis, but I think this particular talent is special.
Has a great resume, too. We've known about this player since they were in the junior ranks. #1 ranked junior player in the world. Went on to have a phenomenal collegiate career. Played well on the amateur level. So at every step, Frank has been successful, has been a winner. This drive down the left side, Frank.
Yeah, it creates a blind second shot because of the mounds in front. So a little bit of guesstimation coming up here, but still only a short iron.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
Now to 7 under par. Frank, 17 gets so much attention here at the TPC Sawgrass, but 13, par 3, is exciting in its own right.
It is, and it's actually more difficult than 17. One of the reasons it's longer, and also the green here. 17 obviously has two sections in it, front and top. This has, I don't think there's a flat piece on it. And every now and again we watch a ball roll all over the screen and actually find the cup for the odd ace.
Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, #1, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, 14 is so often a pivotal hole here at the TPC Sawgrass.
It is, Rich, and when you see a player hit 2 shots comfortably on this green, you think, what's all the problems about 14? But when you see someone stray left or stray right, you realize that 14 is a real bear. Now, green is cleared. There's a good look at it there. Looking at a standout, former standout that is, in college. and about to be perhaps a new star on the PGA Tour next year.
Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th.
Now this young college star birdie putt coming up. And a chance to gain a stroke over the field and graduate to the PGA Tour.
In for par. Just before we get to what they call the gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18, 15 requires all of your attention, doesn't it, Frank?
Personally, I think this is the prettiest hole on the golf course, Rich. I've actually often gone back there and taken pictures. Just a gentle dogleg to the right. You come out of the chute. Seems to be a generous fairway. You just get a little view of the bunker down the right side, but virtually there's no lip there, so that's not a concern. The green, all sorts of weird and wonderful waves on it, well protected by a big bunker on the left, and there's two little pot bunkers out on the right that, well, if you're first time around, you might notice.
Frank, what's the key on this approach here at the 15th?
Well, knowing exactly where that pin placement is, Rich, there's mounding, there's that little gut out of the right side of the screen. If you miss your mark here, that ball can easily finish 30 or 40 feet away.
And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
He has this for par. Continues to hold that sizable lead on the rest of the field. Frank, fans watching, they love excitement in the game. 16's an exciting hole, isn't it?
Well, that's where you get it, because you hear the roars. You start to see the big crowds that go all the way around 16, 17, and 18T. You feel where you are in the tournament, too. A movement that starts at 16 can be carried all the way to the clubhouse. Second shot. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up.
Remember, out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit. I mean, this skill. And that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Just continuing to play some really good golf. 8 under par for the championship. Frank, a couple different ways to watch golf as a fan. You could follow your favorite player for a number of holes, or you can park yourself in one spot. I think one of the better ones is the hill behind the 17th at TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah, and that's why the reaction of the fans is so different. If you followed that player the whole way around, you've lived and died on every shot he's hit. Meanwhile, if you're stuck at a hole, you want to see some tragedy, you want to see some great shots, and consequently you get that divergence of different type of fan.
Perfect, and in the hole. What a shot. Now one of the more difficult holes in golf. The 18th here at Sawgrass, 462-yard par 4. In 2013, this hole averaged .39 strokes above par. What makes it so challenging, Frank?
Just that big body of water that's to the left of 18 here, that's also shared to the right of 9. Not a single fairway bunker on this 18th hole. So really, lack of definition. It's so hard to find a target here.
Well, Frank, you want to finish it off in style. The approach here to the final hole.
You'd take anything that lands in the middle of this green. Mind you, Hal Sutton, Be the Right Club, hard to forget that. Even Adam Scott, remember his first big championship win all those years ago. 3-iron from the middle of the fairway, wet, still managed to make 5, which was enough to win, but such a daunting second shot.
Always like to get to double figures under par. 10 under already.
Rich, in that great opportunity, name on top of the leaderboard. It is only round 1.
Good place to be.
EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present second round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship. Moving into the second round of the Web.com Tour Championship, the fourth and final stop of the Web.com Tour Finals. And Frank, you can feel the pressure building.
You certainly can, Rich, and I expect that we're going to see more of what we saw yesterday, which is some fearless golf. And these guys are playing for a PGA Tour card, and they're not backing down.
Great strike and a great result. Sitting up, good chance to attack the flag. Frank, you want to get out of the gates quickly, hit the proper approach shot here at the first. What does the player need to look out for?
Well, there's two distinct levels to this green. There's that left side and then that collection area to the right side. Flag on the top, it's a very, very difficult shot because that bunker plumb comes into play.
Pretty much doing everything right this week. 11 under for the tournament. Nice scoring opportunity here. 532-yard par 5 second hole, Frank. Considered one of the easier holes on the golf course. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can just cut this in half. 532 yards divided by 2. Really, it's 2 tee shots over 260 yards. For these guys, nothing more than a 3 or a 4 wood. And that's why all you need off the tee is just a 3 wood with a little draw.
You disappointed if you don't make 4 here?
Not disappointed, but obviously you lose at least half a shot on the field. That's an absolute beauty.
Playing his third here at the par 5. So on the putting surface and taking a good look now at this birdie putt here at the second. Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
Clean this up with a tap. Did the job right there. Frank, a nice mix of holes to start. So here we go with a par 3 at the third.
Very narrow at the front of the screen, and that bunker too. You don't actually see it off the tee, the back left bunker, and it sneaks into that left side. So if that flag is on the left, just be careful.
Looks like he came over just a little bit.
Yeah, that one wasn't pretty, but it's still gonna get away with it.
Locked in on the read and the speed. Just a little too much juice on that birdie putt, Frank.
It was bold, very bold.
Could use this one. This is for par. Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts.
In this situation, Rich, a bogey's not all that bad. Still has the lead.
Frank, how important is positioning off the tee here?
Well, we saw a positional tee shot at 1 and 2. This is another one here at 4. I'm loving that balance.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Score that, a birdie. Frank, the golf course toughens up right here at the long par 4 fifth.
Yeah, when you play it off the back tee, 470 yards, it's nearly 320 yards to that last bunker down the left side. That really has to be in the back of your mind. The ideal tee shot, little left to right.
You want to get to what they call the gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18 with a chance. 16 is the reachable par 5. You can make eagle there. And then the final 2 holes, you just want to steer clear of trouble. Though, with bold play, and you mentioned it with Craig Perks, you could make birdies.
It really is a case of mind over matter when you look at those holes. You're right. If you took away the water, you'd think they're 3 nice holes. But it wouldn't be the same. You intimidate the player as he plays 15. He's well aware of the finishing 3 holes.
On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. Kind of a tricky read. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
That's a bogey, but still in the lead.
We start to see shots in hand really valuable.
Frank, what are the players facing here at the 6th, 393-yard par 4?
Ideally, just want to hit that ball about 250 yards. It's going to leave you a shot of sort of 140 yards in. Then the green looks quite big because you're far enough back that those palm trees don't become a problem.
This is going to be a tough day on the links. I mean, even the seagulls are walking to work. Frank, right where you want to be.
Wouldn't be better if it was on a tee.
Frank, now the second shot here at hole number 6.
Yeah, not overly long, but be very aware of these palm trees that are short. Many a shot's caught those trees coming into this green.
That one inside of 10 feet, really dialed in. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie.
Can't birdie them all, Rich.
And getting ready for the putt. That's a solid par putt. Frank, the 7th hole here at the TPC Sawgrass, vintage Pete Dye, isn't it?
It is. Anything other than straight confuses the player off the tee. But there's 3 pot bunkers down the right side. Just inside that last little pot bunker on the left of that, it's actually a pretty good line.
Just a solid shot here at number 7, right where you want to be. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Good chance at one. Put a birdie on the card here yesterday, don't forget.
Even par currently. Rich, that just adds insult to injury to the rest of the field. Another birdie and the gap even wider.
A sensational performance. Here we are at the 8th at Pete Dye's famed stadium course at the TPC Sawgrass. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Navalo. Frank, this is a hole that I really like.
And players do too, Rich, especially off that back tee where it must be about 80 yards of shoot that you go through before the hole actually starts to open up. And this green, 11 bunkers in total around the whole putting surface.
Racking them and stacking them. That's 12 under par now for the tournament. Frank, I think this is one of the most fascinating holes on the golf course. The 583-yard par 5 ninth hole.
With technology now, a lot more players can reach this par 5 and 2. Gone are the days where it was a true three-shotter, but I remember when Sergio Garcia hit that 3-wood from, what was it, 270, 280 yards? Still one of the best shots I've ever seen.
Frank, when you think layup shot on a par 5, you think it's easy. This isn't necessarily that simple, is it?
No, you've got to keep the ball to the right. Otherwise, those overhanging limbs on those trees on the left, they become havoc.
That is professional with a capital P right there.
That's stealing.
Just a superb performance on the front side. He's hoping to keep it going here on the back 9, Frank.
The game is so much easier when you're swinging well, putts are going in. Really, you've just got to keep out of your own way.
Frank, not overly long, but still a pretty good spot and in the fairway.
Yeah, that's in that 280 mark.
Second shot. Good look at the green. This is just a superb performance. Great round to this point, Frank, and you can really see that reflected in his mood today.
Yeah, it just looks too easy. Swinging the club beautifully. Ball's going exactly where he wants it to. He's not trying to take too many risks. So consequently, he's getting birdie opportunity after birdie opportunity.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Nothing wrong with that par putt. Now the time to be aggressive. Par 5, 558-yard, 11th hole, Frank. What's the key here?
Tee it high and let it fly. This is the big chance here. This is one of the widest fairways on the golf course. This is where you chance it all. Oh, that was sweet. Straight down the middle.
Right in the heart of the fairway. Green light special. These winds have held up all day long. Definitely playing a part in the shot making we're seeing out there today. Well, too bad. He'll have to play from the bunker. Routine stuff here, Frank, from the bunker?
You just got to be careful of that lip in front of him with his third shot coming up.
And great execution. Right out of the bunker and right next to the hole. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Continues to roll it very well all day long. Up now, hole number 12. It's a short one, 358-yard, par 4.
This can catch you off guard. If you just try and hit the ball in the fairway, if you're on the middle of the fairway, the left side, you will have a blind second shot. So ideally, hit it down that right side of the fairway if you want to see the flag.
Sit down. Get down.
Oh, this is gone.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
That's still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
And it is in.
Amazing. Amazing.
And Frank, we always like when they have the whole location back left and that ball trickles down, feeds. You can see some really good ones and maybe even an ace here.
Yeah, just like Mickelson a few years ago. Down there, it looked like it was going to flirt with the bunker, ran up and over the ridge, and in it goes. This is one where you have to play ground ball as well as high ball.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, historically in this great championship, 14 has proven to be a pivotal hole.
Everybody focuses on the finish here, but you're absolutely right, Rich. This can be an absolute scorecard record because if you spin your drive left, the drop back, perhaps on the ladies' tees, you can make 6 in a heartbeat. You try and air to the right, you can make 6 from the mounds. So a good drive down 14 gives you a chance for that fast finish.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Good swing, good shot yet again. Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Are you kidding me?
That looked like it was in.
Just a tap in to finish the hole. And he makes it for par. Just before we get to what they call the gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18, 15 requires all of your attention, doesn't it, Frank?
Personally, I think this is the prettiest hole on the golf course, Rich. I've actually often gone back there and taken pictures. Just a gentle dogleg to the right. You come out of the chute. Seems to be a generous fairway. You just get a little view of the bunker down the right side, but virtually there's no lip there, so that's not a concern. The green, all sorts of weird and wonderful waves on it, well protected by a big bunker on the left, and there's 2 little pop bunkers out on the right that, if your first time around, you might notice.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. It's a very makeable putt here. He is currently 5 under for his round.
In the big scheme of things, that bogey won't even count.
And if you're a couple of shots behind on Sunday, that final round, you're thinking about 3, and that's possible, isn't it?
Well, history's shown it has, Rich.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. From a perfect position, ready to play his next shot. And a chance for eagle after that perfectly played shot.
Really. This is an awkward length. Yeah, good roll, good putt.
Frank, as a fan, it's so exciting because it's just so simple as well. Ball's in the air, you're wondering, where is it? Wet, dry, short, long, winner or loser?
And it's no surprise that this hole was an accident. This one was designed by not Pete Dye, but his wife Alice Dye. But we have seen so many accidents right here.
Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No, just a good putt, though. There's no 2 ways about that. He's putting well.
Simple, solid, and
He'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Now to the 18th hole here at TPC Sawgrass, 462-yard par 4, Frank, and another example of visual intimidation from the designer, Pete Dye.
Those wooden bulkheads that go all the way down the left side of 18 give you like an optical illusion, Rich. And there's not a single fairway bunker on the right to give you something specifically to aim at. So you've got to fixate on one of those trees. This is not a hole where you want to be looking at anything other than a specific target. Great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Superb shot.
That's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Trying to make yet another birdie. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been.
Well, Rich, 2 rounds in the books, and it's easy to see why the leaders are on top of that leaderboard.
Excellent performance, but still a long ways to go in this tournament.